RMJ Movie Reviews back again with an on-the-fly movie review of Aquaman. Well, I am very familiar with the character of Aquaman. I used to watch the Super Friends cartoon back in the 80s. I actually had the DC toys that they released during kind of the mid 80s, like 85, 86, I think 1987. I can't remember that bad guy in that line, the dude with the gray face and the bald head and the blue outfit. I can't remember his name. You guys DC fans can tell me. But those line of toys, I had those in the 80s. So I had I believe, did I have Aquaman? I can't remember, but I know I had Batman. Of course I had Superman and I had Wonder Woman. But anyway, I'm familiar with the DC characters. I was neither here nor there about Aquaman. I mean, it wasn't like in the 80s when we were kids. We were like, yeah, Aquaman. It was kind of really more like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash. Those were really like the ones that we really clung to. Green Lantern a little bit, but it was The Flash, Batman, and Superman, and Wonder Woman. So, as far as the new DC movies that are basically trying to ride off of Marvel's success, look, Man of Steel, I really enjoyed. Of course, I had my issues with the destruction of Metropolis at the end of the movie, but whatever. Batman v Superman. I love Charles Bronson style Batman, but I had issues with the way Superman was portrayed with that version of Lex Luthor's son. Suicide Squad, I had no idea about those characters at all, but I liked that movie for what it was. Wonder Woman was very good. I thought that was actually a well-constructed movie. By far the best DC movie of all. Justice League, ill-conceived, rushed. It was fun if you have very low expectations, but just ill-conceived, and they just did not take enough time on that. They just blew their wad on Justice League. This movie, this is second to Wonder Woman. Flat out, second to Wonder Woman. It was very good. Now, I've heard quips about people saying there's stupid stuff in it. I mean, look, it's Aquaman. It's about a dude who communicates and swims with fishes. Come on, guys. So as far as cheesy acting, cheesy dialogue, I don't even count that as part of my review because it's about a guy who talks to fish. Come on, guys. So that doesn't even need to be said. The plain fact of the matter is, was the movie enjoyable? Was it fun? And was it better than the lower end of the DC movie totem pole, Batman v Superman, Justice League, Suicide Squad? Yes. Is it better than Man of Steel? Yes. Like I said, it would probably go in the DC movies that are good, Wonder Woman, in this movie. Man of Steel is partially good, but then partially flawed. So Man of Steel is a very far third to Wonder Woman in this. The good stuff. This is visually fantastic. I mean, I had an eyegasm watching this thing. It's insane. And being a person, I love the water. I love to swim just in my own life. I wasn't a gigantic fan of SeaWorld when I was a kid. Somebody can tell me if SeaWorld even exists anymore. But I did love to watch Shamu splash in the water and all of that. And I might add, Shamu has a cameo in this movie. But just looking at the water and the creatures and the colors, the blues and the purples and the way they come out the water and the swimming, I loved it. I just had such a blast. There were points where I had trouble telling what was actually shot in the water and which wasn't. I mean, obviously, like scenes where like they're coming out the water on the beach, obviously that's real water. But just the fact that they took advantage of all the sea creatures and underwater life. And I love that. I mean, I've heard a lot of people reference Lord of the Rings. I would more reference Clash of the Titans from the early 80s with Harry Hamlin. There's a scene where I can't remember the name of the guy who was under the water, but there's a scene where he's like, and his hair is kind of, that's this entire movie. That little short scene in the early 80s Clash of the Titans, that's its entire movie. That scene of the underwater guy, which I can't remember his name. I always love that scene in this movie, so this movie was a delight to me. There's a lot of cues from like that scene in Clash of the Titans. There's a lot of scenes from James Cameron's The Abyss that have little nods in there. There's a lot that James Wan took, and I'm a fan of James Wan. I really like his movies, particularly his scary movies. And I wasn't a fan of the Furious 7, but I mean it was okay. But I thought it was okay what he did with that movie. The action's all very well done. It does suffer from, the stuff of too much going on because, I'm not a fan of just so much special effects because honestly guys, sometimes I have trouble telling what's going on. Like there's just so much here and there and I'm just like what the hell am I looking at here? Where do you want me to look? There's too much going on. So there is a little bit of that, but it's still just so visually stunning that I was enthralled by just the way it looked. And I love that the costumes are very old school. One thing I might add, and I'm digressing a little bit, when I hear like commentary tracks for the older X-Men movies like 1 and 2 and Bryan Singer go, oh, well, we can't make Wolverine and the X-Men look like the comic, that is BS because the colorful costumes that are not special effects, that are the actors wearing the costumes in camera, they damn well could have did it just like the comics. They just choose not to. So I call BS on that. So when they reboot the X-Men franchise, I'd like them to actually look like the comics. And I don't care. Everybody can say, it won't work. It won't work. Yes, it will. You can look at the costumes in this movie. It will work. They just choose not to make it work. But it's visually fantastic. The acting is suited perfectly for this material. It's a fish, man. Of course, if we don't band together, they're going to rise and they're going to take over the dry land. I mean, come on, guys. It's a guy about a fish. Come on. Look, it is what it is. There was only one moment where I kind of said, like, maybe they should have reshot that. And I think that's when the teenage version of Aquaman was talking with William Dafoe on the beach. And he was going, you're telling me they killed my mom? Oh God! I mean, it was really, that moment was like bad. It was bad. I'm sorry. I know the young man gave it his all, but that moment was bad. But aside from that, and Dolph Lundgren has been coming back. You know what? And Dolph Lundgren is capable of good acting. I'm not saying he's De Niro, nor would I ever even think that, but I will say in regards to how people put the man down for his acting, his acting was good in this movie. And I know there's been times where sometimes Dolph Lundgren, maybe occasionally, sometimes you'd have trouble with understanding his dialogue in some cases. I know that was the case with the first Expendables movie. He's really good. He's good in this movie, and he was good in Creed 2, and I it's really nice that people like James Wan respect the guys from back in the day who really created their level of film and given them some John Travolta style comeback shots. Dolph Lundgren was really good in this. Patrick Wilson, I've loved him since Hard Candy, and I even like him in Lakeview Terrace. Great actor. Jason Momoa, he carries that charisma, very charismatic and good. William Dafoe, I mean, come on, he could act in his sleep. He's always great. Amber Heard, regardless of kind of the other controversial things, she's beautiful. She's always been beautiful. She's good in this movie. Matter of fact, I was going to give the movie an 8 out of 10. She inches it back up to a 9 just because of how hot she looks in her outfit. It's a fun movie. My only quip is, with too much going on with all the special effects, and the movie was too long. It was just too long, and the extra stuff in the plot with what's the guy's name? Mantra. I can't remember what his guy, but they should have left him out the movie. He was a little bit too much, but I understand they were trying to. And see, that's the thing, the whole trying to set up for the next movie. Leave it be. Focus on this. Don't worry about extending to other stuff. Just keep it here. So they should have took him out the movie. He should have been just taken out. The section in the desert. Personal opinion, they should have took that out. But aside from it being too long, and add that extra subplot with the mantra guy trying to set up the next movie. I had a really great time. I didn't think it was better than Wonder Woman, but I think it was a fun time at the movies, and by far Wonder Woman and Aquaman are the best DC movies so far. The tone being here, there, and there. Again, it's a movie about a fish guy. So I enjoyed it. Anybody who just wants to have a fun time at the movies, go check it out. Go see an early show, guys, because it really is long. Thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video. Don't forget to hit the little bell, leave comments down below about Aquaman. Hey guys, go out and see it. It's a lot of fun. RMJ Movie Reviews, I'll see you soon.